All right, we're going to kick off our media availability this afternoon with Ryan Newman, driver of the number 6 Acorns Ford. And Ryan, obviously, you always enjoy coming home to Indiana, but this race is obviously an important one for you. Talk a little bit about your team's plan going into the weekend.
Just to perform, enjoy it. There's a lot of teams that would like to be in our situation. There's a lot of teams that are better than our situation, but there's also a lot of teams that would love to be fighting for a playoff berth, and just do what we can to be the best we can with our Acorns Ford and enjoy the race. And it is home for me. Lots of friends and family. Get a chance to go run the Silver Crown car tonight out at IRP, and a lot of things going on, but you know, that's just part of it, and I definitely enjoy it.
All right, we'll take questions now for Ryan. If you have one, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll get a microphone to you. All right, we'll start with Claire and then come up front.
Claire Beeline, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. A lot of the young drivers here in Xfinity that I talked to yesterday were like trying not to be overwhelmed when they first come to Indianapolis because of the history and everything. Do you remember first coming here and how you felt, and did you have to have extra focus for that or not? And then what makes this track tough?
I mean, I think there's a lot of guys that come here that are young that have never been here, if that makes any sense. And then there's a lot of guys that have been here but never got a chance to race, and I was one of those guys. So I understood more so the history, the relevance, everything about the Speedway, and watched Indy races and things like that to make a better understanding for myself of what to expect. But I think it's totally different when you get out there on the racetrack. And I think that my first experiences were at a test, and I had a lot of fun. And then we came back here, and we had fast race cars, no doubt. But we came back here, and I think we had a practice session on Thursday or something like that, just a one-off practice session, really quick 30-minute practice session, and we were P1, and that was all the confidence I needed to go into that weekend, 18 years ago, whatever it was. So I think that you can overcome that inexperience really quick with some confidence is my answer.
All right, up front here.
Steve Schweitzer.
You're on.
Okay, Steve Schweitzer with Alaska Press. Ryan, a little contact with Daniel Suarez last week. Was it just racing, no big deal, or
Are you assuming I made contact with him or he made contact with me?
I didn't say. Was it no big deal, or was it something you guys needed to talk about?
That's racing. But I said just what I said afterwards. Everything kind of cycles in our sport. What comes around goes around, and it's it is what it is. I mean, I don't think he meant to turn me around, but he turned me around. So it's just racing. I get it. Whether he plowed through me like Kenseth did at Logano, or just took the air off me, or whatever, it's racing. And I don't have any intentions going into this race other than do the best I can for our team.
All right, we have Dustin and Holly both have a question. Dustin, go ahead.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Regardless of what happens this weekend, you've talked about this as kind of a rookie team and everybody being together for the first time. What does this group need to do moving forward to where you're not in this position a year from now?
Win, which is the easy answer. Just keep progressing as a team. We've talked about it a little bit personally, but our team is so new. It's newer than I ever experienced my rookie season. And that's huge, I think, with all the changes that we had in our sport in the offseason. I think was underestimated by me, and a huge change to task the tackle, and I feel like we've done a good job, but to answer your question, just go out there and continue to progress to make our cars go faster. I think we've had some good strategy, good pit stops, good moves on the racetrack, all those types of things. With those good things, we need to turn into great things, and keep progressing as a team. And those experiences will hopefully build a notebook that we can carry into next year and be more successful.
All right, Holly, go ahead.
Holly Kane, the NASCAR Wire Service. How much confidence are you able to take into your situation as a veteran, as somebody that's kind of been here before, needing to race into the playoffs? I mean, does that change your approach? Can you sleep a little easier tonight maybe than somebody else that hasn't, gone through this before?
I think yes. I think I'm like one level beyond veteran now. I think that I'm like senior veteran. But, because not only have I been around the sport for a long time, but I've experienced the pushes and the pulls and the ups and the downs of the playoffs and, making your way in, racing your way in, and not making it and making it. And, I think that no matter what, I'm going to sleep because I'm going to be tired after the Silver Crown race. But, it's a great opportunity to go out and have fun. There's so many kids out there that I've been a part of in my racing career and watched, whether it was over at the dirt track Wednesday and Thursday, that want to be in my seat. So I appreciate that more so than I ever did.
All right, we have a couple questions. We'll start up here up front and then go to the back. Go ahead.
I'm Cody out of Northview High School. Coming in on the bubble this weekend.
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
I got a...
Oh, yeah. It used to be being Friday.
Yeah. But
You do this for 19 years, the calendar doesn't matter anymore.
coming in this weekend, is there any way, being on the bubble, that you look at this weekend any differently? Like, do you approach it cautiously, or do you come in at an aggressive standpoint?
Both, and always both. I think that, to me, this race is no different than when the green flag dropped for the Daytona 500. You got just as many opportunities and points to gain as you do to lose, and it's the same for everybody. And you can't try to make up in one race what you didn't accomplish in the first 25. So, we're in a position where we're break even with one. We've got to race another, and we got to keep our eyes on the one behind us. And I mean, that's really no different than it was in Daytona. We just need to go out there and do our job and try to win. And if we can't, take the best position we can take, and keep in mind that we're racing for something more than just one race. We're racing for the next 10.
All right, we're going to take one final question for Newman before we start with Clint. Go ahead.
Zach Tanswetti, kickingthetires.net. When it comes to information that you're going to want to know throughout the race, are you a driver who wants to know where Suarez, Bowyer, and Jimmie are running, or are you rather not ask for those updates and just not focus on that during the race?
I want to be able to know where they're at, whether it's in front of me or behind me, but in the end it doesn't matter. It's something that's kind of just lies in your consciousness. But, I mean, if I can't get to them, I can't get to them. If I got them behind me, I want to keep them behind me, and that's just the facts of it. So I think you kind of subconsciously want to know those things, but in the end you can't really do anything about it. Otherwise you'd lap the field 22 times.
All right, Ryan, we
All
wish
right.
you the best of luck this weekend. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us so quickly after practice. Clint, Bowyer, driver of the number 14 Rush Ford. Clint is always in a hurry. So we will take questions for Clint. If you have one, please raise your hand, and we'll state your name and affiliation, and who wants to kick us off. Dustin, thank you very much.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. You talked about a few weeks back when you guys were struggling, not being able to put together a complete race and just kind of having those mistakes. I know you had the issue at Bristol. Was Darlington a step forward, do you feel like, in doing that, or where you guys feel like you're progressing at this point?
I think Darlington was a snapshot of our capabilities. Yeah, I think that's, I've said it time and time again, when we race to our capabilities, we're a single-digit car. A lot of things go into play on that. I feel like we've raced inside the single digits several times this year, and more often than not, struggled to get the finish and manage track position and things like that. It's a new game, man. We're all learning it, and obviously there's a certain group of teams that are have a little bit more speed than some do so far, but that certainly helps manage all those situations, right? But the facts are, we're up against a situation where we can make the playoffs and compete within. If we can compete to our capabilities, I feel like we can go rounds in the playoffs. We unloaded, a fast hot ride here, but I mean, it's a new beast. This is a whole new deal. Going around here and not lifting in the corners and things like that. You're asking so many different things out of a race car than you did in years prior. I mean, it's just what those cars go through and how we've learned over time with lifting and letting the locker unlock and letting the car roll, easy in, hard off, make that straightaway as long as possible. That's all out the window. It's literally, crate racing where you have to keep momentum. I mean, these Xfinity cars on the racetrack right now, that's been a snapshot of what we're racing here for the last few years, and I think it's definitely a challenge for everybody that has been in the sport a long time, whether it's a driver or a crew chief or an engineer. It's definitely different. An aero team, when you're trying to work on yaw moments and change the yaw changing in the middle of the corner and how the car goes through that yaw moment is a drastic difference what we're asking out of the car now versus what we used to.
Right, go ahead.
Bruce Martin with NBCSports.com. Because you've had to relearn so much at Indianapolis, how important are these practices and the qualifications, which you were denied last year because of the weather?
Yeah, I think sometimes with me, myself, and I don't know if it's because of me or I experienced some of it, less track time usually is a good thing, for an organization like Haas with such great people and great tools, and a lot of experience on all facets of that. That's a good thing, but Pocono is always a good, testing ground, proving ground for what you'll see at Indy. We were pretty decent there on speed-wise and things like that, but you're talking the same tire and same situations, speed and everything else, qualifying. I feel like I'm fairly confident we'll be fine there. It's the things you can't control, that untimely caution and something like that. I mean, that's the difference in being in the situation we're in that could bite you. I mean, that's the reality of it. But you go out there and control the things you can control, make the car as fast as possible. Try to qualify up front, keep it in track position, stay in front of those guys, and that's the only thing you can control, really. Anything else above and beyond that, if it's a unlucky situation, untimely caution, something like that, so be it.
All right, go ahead.
Tyler Burnett, MRN. Looking ahead to next week at Vegas, in March was the last time we went there, and that was fairly early on with this rules package. What have you guys learned that will make that race look different next week?
Every time there's a rule change, everything's all over the place. The teams are either hitting on it or missing on it, especially early in the year like Vegas was this spring. That's pretty much the team's first shot at a mile-and-a-half track and first stab at a, not only a team but an organization. Those, again, we've talked about it before, that point in the year, you've made the bed. You're lying in the bed you made, and this time around, it seems like always when there's a rule change by halfway through the season, usually by Charlotte, that gap is closed and the window is closed in and everybody's kind of, honed in on where they want to be. So that'll be the case next week. No different than here.
All right, go ahead.
Dustin Albino, French Judge. With the pressure this weekend, what did you do during the week to keep your mind away from racing?
Man, I went to the shop. It was a short week for everybody. I think everybody was pretty much junk on Labor Day. My Labor Day was less than eventful. I went down to the pool and kind of had some plans. I cracked open a beer and I sat there and looked at it for about an hour and I was like, that's different. I'll be damned, about 5 o'clock, I think I was staring at the back of my eyelids laying on the couch, and she took the kids out for a walk and came back in. She's like, you up? Like, yeah, I'm good. What do we want to do for dinner? And so my Labor Day was probably no different than anybody else's. Tuesday went to the shop like always, and Wednesday we got some things done around the house, built a couple food plots for the deer and get that going, and that's your off day. Wednesdays are kind of your Saturday these days, and then Wednesday night took Cash to the motocross track, had a lot of fun there, watching that little turd go around there. It's pretty funny. It's funny how they They even learn lingo in the motocross. But man, gee, I was ripping it, brah. He told me, I'm like, what the hell did you just say? Where did you learn that? But he learned it. And, just came here and got ready to have a great weekend. It's a lot of fun to be able to come here. Stressful weekend. There's a lot of implications, and it's an important thing to be a part of the playoffs. It's important to me. It's important to my race team, Mike, and everybody else on the 14 team. It's important to our organization with Stuart Haas Racing, and certainly our manufacturer with Ford. So it's fun. It's fun to feel this way. You don't have this opportunity to feel this way under this pressure and have that bearing on yourself every weekend. You don't. But it's kind of fun to test yourself and rise to the occasion and try to have some fun within this as well.
Did you find a home for the kittens?
Yes, thank God. There was somebody that showed up and took the kittens because my old man saved the kittens and then left as kind of luck would have it. So, yep, the kittens have a safe and good home, and Cash was very worried about that when he woke up and found the kittens were no longer there. But all is well in the kitten world, thank God.
All right, we're going to take our final question up front. Go ahead.
Coming into the Brickyard this weekend, what would it mean for you and your team to maybe get that win? How much confidence would that give your team heading into the playoffs?
I don't think a Brickyard win is anything about confidence or anything else. It's about a Brickyard. It's about an Indianapolis win. I mean, hell, I don't even feel welcome half the time if you find one of them yellow shirts or whatever, but I don't give a damn. We're here, and I would love to win here. I think it would mean the world, to myself, my career, my family, our race team, or, call it legacy, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's a big deal to win at Indy. It's something that, everybody, that races wishes they had an opportunity to even compete at Indy and be on these, hollow grounds. But to be able to roll into, a victory lane would be ultra special for anybody in this sport, and certainly I'm no exception.
All right. Thank you, Clint. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Elevator around here.
Everybody, you guys go back to back, so they just didn't get up and leave. All right, we've now been joined by Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Ally Chevrolet. We'll take questions for Jimmie. If you have one, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. We're going to start up front with Holly and then go to Reed.
Hi, Jimmie. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I'm going to pull a Wolfgang, and I have kind of two questions for you. The first one, if you had to go to a venue and be racing for your playoff hopes, is this one that you feel, rather good at, considering your past history here? And the second part of my question is, how aware do you want to be during the race on Sunday of the other three guys' positions as you're racing?
Yeah, I don't mind coming here at all. I love the history of this track and love being here. And making a lap here is really special, and a place that drivers all aspire to come and compete. But if I could pick a track, it'd probably be Dover. So it would be different if I had a chance to pick myself. But I love it here. It's a great place, and our car is real fast, and we're excited about the weekend. And we're. Of course, I'm going to be aware. Of course, I'm going to be fed information. So we'll just see how it unfolds. But it's pretty simple with just a couple guys to worry about. And I know that I need a lot of points in one afternoon. So we've only discussed about how fast we're going to be and how aggressive we're going to be, and all the things that could hopefully lead to a victory and just eliminate any need for points. So we know that the best plans don't always play out, so we'll see how it plays out. But there will be some information coming in at times. But hopefully we have a fast enough car we don't have to worry about it.
All right, Reed, go ahead.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. When Chase was in here earlier, he was saying how important it was for the organization to get you into the playoffs, and how it was also important for you to have speed off the truck, which it looked like you did. Was there anything different about the preparation this week at Hendrick from the organization as a whole that was above and beyond in terms of helping your effort? And did you do a mock run in the practice session?
Yep, we did a mock run at the end. Our last lap was a mock run. I think we ended up 9th on the sheet with that lap time. There has been more preparation, but it really hasn't been because of the week. It's been since Cliff took over as crew chief. There's more hours, more time. We had a Saturday night race recently, and guys are in when they were asked not to come to the shop. And it's not just Cliff alone, but the energy and the brotherhood inside of the 48 team and how bad the guys want to perform. They're there when they don't need to be. They're there when they don't, when they're asked not to be. So it's pretty amazing to see the time and effort. And all of that has added up over the last couple of weeks where our guys have been able to spend more time on the car that we brought here. So it's hard to just look at a given week and say, hey, we're going to do more, because you don't have enough time. The truck's got to load and leave and all that stuff. But weeks back, things started clicking, which have allowed really every car that's gone on the track in the last 3 or 4 weeks to have more detail and more time spent on them.
All right, go ahead, then we'll go to Pat.
Bruce Martin with NBCSports.com. Jimmie, in a lot of ways, doesn't it just simplify what you need to do? It's just win or else. You don't have to worry about, in a lot of ways, not calculating the points, but you can really simplify it by just winning the race.
Yeah, it would be a heck of a story. To tie Jeff with 5 here, to come through a drought and all the things that we all know, and you guys have had to write about, I've had to talk about, like having all that come to a conclusion and lock myself into the playoffs. It'd be one hell of a story. Hopefully that is the story.
All right, Pat, go ahead.
Pat DeCola, NASCAR.com. Everything you just mentioned about Cliff and the team seems like you're in the right situation now. But seeing the success that William and Chad are having this year, do you kind of look at it and be like, well, what could have been, like if you had stayed together?
No, I know what we had. I mean, we had lightning in a bottle. I mean, we had 15 out of 17 years or 14 out of 17 years that were just out of this world. And we had a great run. There is no doubt about it. But unfortunately, just where our relationship went in the final couple of years, we weren't bringing the best out of one another. And that's why we had to, had to change paths. I still think Chad Canales is the best crew chief to ever walk through the garage area. I do. I am his biggest fan and proponent, and I think William is a great student for him to teach and evolve as a driver. So I'm happy for them. Of course I want to beat him. Of course I want to outrun him. But that's Chad Canales, and he knows what he is doing, and he's developing William at a rapid rate, and they're doing a great job.
All right, we're going to go Claire, Bob, and then Dustin. Claire, go ahead.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. The regular season championship, do you like that idea that there's a regular season champion? What do you think about Kyle Busch getting that and the benefits of that?
Without a doubt, there needs to be a regular season champion. I was part of a group that was pushing for that years ago. And I was joking then, even if you just get a coffee mug that says champ on it would be well worth it. We just love those things to fight for and work for. And it felt kind of empty, just all of a sudden the playoffs started and we didn't crown a champion for the regular season. So I think NASCAR's done a great job with that. They should triple the purse. That'd be nice. You know, it wouldn't be going in my pocket. It'd be nice.
Bob, go ahead.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. Have you all figured out, do you go for stage points, or if you go for stage points, do you know all the other guys you're racing with will do it, and you just have to pretty much play to win?
I don't think you're going to win from 20th. So you need to have a fast car. You need to be in the mix. You need to run up front. And if you're running up front, I think you're going to get plenty of stage points and then have a shot to win. So I think we need to be a dominant car, and we need to be up front all day long to have a shot to win the race.
All right, Dustin, go ahead.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. With being a dominant car, part of that is being a team executes flawlessly. I know last week there's not much you can do when somebody wrecks in front of you, but was last week the first time maybe in a couple months that the entire team, everybody kind of were putting together a race? Because I'm not sure if I remember you guys having put together as complete a race recently.
Yeah, there's been plenty of bad luck, that's for sure. I mean, I think Bristol was going, the race itself was going well. We had good stops, but I don't know. It's tough to go back through each one. I'd say one easy one that stands out would be Chicago. I think we finished second or third there. That was a good one. Last weekend we did perform well through practice, qualified well, ran well. So we're getting there. It's what I have learned through this 2 or 3 year drought in difficult time is just how important the team is. And I've known it, I've lived it, and I've been the beneficiary of some amazing teams. And I just didn't realize how fragile it was until I got involved and had to start building that and help select the right people to put in place to build that team. It's been an interesting journey, and I've through it all, I've learned a ton. I mean, I really have, and I think we're in a spot now that everybody can see where the hard work has gone, and we're starting to show up and perform.
All right, we have time for one more question. All right, we'll come back. We'll go to Jerry, and then we'll wrap it with Holly. Jerry, go ahead.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tire Side Net. I do have one about this weekend, the format, and the qualifying and all that. Do you have time to get everything ready? I know there's practices, but changing over for qualifying, racing, and everything like that. Do you like that, the condensed formula?
We feel like we're on the edge of enough time at a lot of tracks to get the work side done. So I'd rather be in the pit stall right now working with my guys. I was in the middle of something before I had to come over. But tomorrow this is a unique schedule, and qualifying tomorrow is a different challenge. If somebody does have a problem and gets in the fence and has to go to a backup, it's going to be a Chinese fire drill. But we'll just kind of see how it turns out. I am in favor for trying different schedules and trying to figure out how to maximize what's best for competitors and fans alike. So, we're trying something new here. I can't recall qualifying on race day except for Pocono, maybe a couple years ago, a year ago or something like that. So it's different. If it's received well, then we'll adjust for sure.
All right, Holly, want to wrap us up?
Holly Kane, the NASCAR Wire Service. Real quick, beyond the championships and all the race wins, I remember what you pulled off at Homestead a couple years ago when your car was pulled off the grid just before and you went out and won the championship. Things like that help you in terms of a certain sense of confidence, or we can get this done, because you've been through a lot of obstacles that you've had to overcome at various times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, experience helps. I have been able to work through some really tough situations and come out on top over the years. There's no guarantees that will be what happens here this weekend, but I do feel like if that opportunity presents itself, the experience I have will help me stay calm and help me do the right things in that moment. So it helps me sleep better, absolutely. Knowing what I've pulled off in the past gives me the confidence it helps with my confidence rolling into this weekend. Yeah.
Jimmie, we thank you for your time. You can now get back to that meeting you were in, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. We're going to continue with our media availability this afternoon. Here in advance of tomorrow's Big Machine Vodka 400 at the Brickyard, presented by Florida Georgia Line. We've been joined by Daniel Suarez, driver of the number 41 Haas Automation Ford. We'll take questions for Daniel. If you have one, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll go to Steve up front.
No questions about the bubble. Just kidding.
Daniel, Steve Schweitzer with the Lasco Press. Daniel, last week you had a little contact with Ryan Newman, and now you guys are sitting together there on the bubble tide. Was it just racing, just something that happened, or was it a situation that required maybe you and he to have a conversation afterwards?
It was just racing, and by the way, there was no contact there. But yeah, it was just a racing deal. It happened to be him, but that could have happened with anyone. Newman, I have a lot of respect for him, and he's a very aggressive driver, one of the most. And I'm not saying that. People know that. And I'm the same way. Sometimes we race hard, and sometimes we know what the limits are, and sometimes we push a little bit hard to do something. It was just a racing deal. I didn't mean to spin him out. I didn't mean to wreck him, but I wanted to pass him. And unfortunately, ended up, him spinning out. But like I said, there was no contact. It was just aggressive racing, and that's what we do every week. So that's part of it.
All right, we'll continue with questions for Daniel. If you have one, raise your hand. Pat, take you next.
Pat DeCole, NASCAR.com. To what length will you go to make sure that you're on the right side of the bubble come Sunday?
What line?
What length? Like, how physical, I guess, would you be on the track to make sure that you're in the right position?
You know, there is obviously the point situation and the bubble and the playoff drivers and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, we have to control what we can control. I cannot control where Newman finished. I cannot control where Bowyer or Johnson finish. That's something I can't control. The only thing I can control is myself. And I have to try to put myself in the best position in the racetrack for stage points and finishing the race in a good position so we can make it, you know. But I cannot control, you know, their result. I cannot go out there to wreck all three of them to make sure I'm going to be fine. You know, that's not how it works. But you know, I have to go out there and do my thing, and the team has to do theirs. The pit crew has to do their own thing, and yeah, I mean, you know, this weekend is different because this is the final, is the last one, and there is already more pressure, and it's, on my personal opinion, it's more fun. There is more attention to the media, as we can see. I'm here talking to you guys, so you know, it's part of it. I try to have fun with it, and I'm trying to go out there to do my thing.
All right, go ahead.
Bruce Meyer with NBCSports.com. From a bigger perspective, a big picture angle, what would it mean for a driver from your country to get into the NASCAR playoffs? Because it would have some historical significance to it.
Yeah, it will mean a lot. But to be honest, I'm shooting higher than that. You know, to make the playoffs, I feel like it's a must. It's a must-do thing. Obviously, in the past, I don't feel like I haven't done a good job, or the team haven't done a good job, or the combination of both, or who knows. But in the past, I haven't had what I need to be able to compete in the playoffs. And I feel like now the team, even when the team hasn't been their best, now we're right there. So hopefully, you know, we can make it happen. And once we are in it, trying to go all in and trying to put some good races together, to transfer through some of the rounds. We believe that we're a young team that we're still getting better and better. They still getting to know me and getting to know the new rule package and stuff like that. So I feel like we have a lot of good things coming our way. We just have to be patient and keep working hard.
But as far as being from Mexico, being in the NASCAR playoffs, that'd be big.
Yeah, of course, it's something very cool. You know, as you know, making the playoffs, that would be something extremely good. But like I said, I'm shooting higher than that. You know, I just like when I won the championship in 16. You know, that was amazing. I enjoyed that a lot. But as soon as we start 17, I wasn't thinking about that anymore. I was thinking more about winning Racing Cup, and I'm still doing that. So, you know, I really enjoy to achieve my goals. But once I get those, I like to put a new one. So, really, the playoff is one of them. But you know, we have high expectations for things. If hopefully we can make things work.
All right, Jaron.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. Question, with the pressure you have coming in on the bubble, with the condensed schedule that we have this week, does it cause you any concern that we're qualifying and going straight into a race? Is there enough time, do you think, or can you work through the things that you'll need to work through after qualifying to get ready for the action?
I like it. You know, it reminds me kind of like the old K&N days, you know, when we used to do everything in one day. Really now it's in 2 days, but I like it. You know, I have fun with this, and just a little bit of a different system. But overall, I enjoy coming to Indianapolis a lot. It's one of my favorite racetracks. I enjoy coming here a lot, and I'm really looking forward to have a good, fun, solid weekend. So so far in the first practice, I feel like we have had a lot of work to do. The car hasn't been exactly where we want to be, but we made a lot of ground. So I feel like now we're walking in the right direction. Hopefully, second practice can be a good step forward, and have a good solid day tomorrow. I really, that's the goal. And you know, like I said, I'm shooting high. I really hope we can get the 41 Ford Mustang Haas automation dialed in today, so we can not just think about making the playoff, but it will be amazing. Vicky's in the bricks here. That's one of my dreams, and it's an amazing place, a lot of history, and I feel like you know, the team is capable of doing that. We just have to put all the pieces together.
All right, go ahead.
John Hanna Racing Information Systems. Have you had the opportunity to relax between last weekend and this weekend, and if so, how?
Yeah, a lot. Too much. Last week it was a little bit of a long week. Normally we travel on Thursdays, and this time actually we travel on Friday. So we had an extra day. So yeah, it was very cool to stay home actually the entire week, which we don't have that most of the time, and have fun and really study what I have to do in Indianapolis, and go to a shop a few days and meet up with the guys, have lunch with them, go through my routine of meetings, workout program and stuff. So it was a good, relaxed week, and I really, I feel like my battery is at 100% to go out racing.
All right, go ahead.
Rob Conant, 93 WIBC here in Indianapolis. Daniel, you briefly mentioned what it would mean to kiss the bricks here. You're still kind of relatively new here at the Brickyard. Can you discuss those nerves and feelings you had the first time you were here, and do you still get those nerves and feelings, especially this year where it's the regular season finale and you're on the bubble?
More than nerves, I feel excitement. I really feel excitement of coming to this place, not really knowing all the history that this place has, and all the amazing drivers, all the legends. This place has a lot of history, and to come here and to just to be able to race here is something really cool. But it doesn't end there. As a race car driver, you always want more, and really I want to be able to be successful in this amazing place, and I feel like I have a team capable of doing that. Hopefully this weekend is a good weekend for us, and we can make it happen.
All right, we're going to go to Dustin and then wrap up front. Dustin, go ahead.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Daniel, what you face this weekend, how does it compare with the Homestead weekend of 16? Obviously, there's a lot of pressure in that experience. You obviously won the race and won the championship. Is this something kind of on a similar level since you've kind of had that experience, or can you compare what your kind of experience or what this weekend to make the playoffs kind of compares to that one race type of situation with the Xfinity in 16?
You know what, Dustin, is very interesting that you mentioned that, because I've been thinking about that a lot, and I even watched some of the videos of that weekend, because it feels similar. It doesn't feel the same, but it feels similar. Not just for making the playoffs, but what that will mean to my team, sponsors, and a lot of people. So, it's not the same, but it's probably the closest I've been, position-wise. So, yes, it feels similar. I have had a lot of flashbacks from that weekend, and really, I feel like I was able to handle that weekend extremely well. Like I said before, I feel like I work pretty well under pressure, and I have been that way since I was racing go-karts, just trying to find sponsors and trying to win races to be able to continue and go to the next one. So, yeah, it feels good. It feels good to be here. It feels good to be in this position, and hopefully, just like we did in 2016, we can end up the weekend in the good side of things.
I'm sorry, but you say you watched some videos from that time. What were you watching, or why? Are you watching stuff on track, or were you watching interviews and how you appeared to handle that situation?
No, like I said, I had some videos actually on my cell phone of little clips. I remember in practice back in Homestead, car spun out in front of me, and I barely missed it. And after I missed that one, I said to my guys on the radio, hey, we're going to win the championship. If I didn't hit the guy, we're going to win the championship. So I was always very confident, and I knew what I wanted, and that's just myself. And I feel like this weekend has a similar perspective. We have 3 guys that we have to beat, and it's just pretty similar. So at the end of the day, like I said before, we have to control what we can control and go out there, have fun. I have to do my part. The team has to do theirs. The pit crew has to do theirs, and go out there to do our best. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead, Steve.
Steve Schweitzer, the Lasco Press. Daniel, you mentioned team meetings this week. Was there any discussion in those meetings about if the circumstances were right, that you and Clint could help each other, grab the last 2 spots?
No. I wish we talked about that, but we didn't. Clint and I, we're good friends, and we know that if we can help each other, we will. But at the same time, we race hard. That's what we do. But we're smart. He has plenty of experience, and I'm not dumb. So, I know what I have to do, and he knows what he has to do. We're going to go out there to do what we do best, and trying to beat each other, but at the same time, without trying to kill each other. So hopefully things work out in a good way for both of us.
All right, we'll take one final question up front.
I'm Cody Ferris out of Northview High School. Tomorrow during the race, when all the cars are going to be out there, how much is draft going to come into factor tomorrow in the race?
Yeah, drafting is going to be huge. We already had a little bit of a taste of that in practice. That's going to be huge, and I don't think that the racing is going to be like we have seen in the past on the Xfinity Series in the last couple of years, because we are going way faster in the straightaway and in the corners. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how things play out in the way that that we can make runs on people and trying to play with air a little bit. So we'll see how things play out. We're always still learning about it.
All right, Daniel, we appreciate you spending some time with us today. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Hopefully we'll see you in here tomorrow.